Hey there, it's Jessie with The Way We Work. When I think about myself as a child, I was always quiet and reserved, but really inquisitive. I always wanted to dive deeply when I found something of interest, from ancient mythologies and history to the greater philosophical questions like what if life was like a TV show? This was before The Truman Show or reality TV, so pretty deep for a 10-year-old. But research never deterred me, and acquiring knowledge for the sake of knowledge was kind of a pastime. But the older I got, I started to notice it wasn't really cool to be a girl into asking questions. So I let the bullshit societal norms creep in and infect what I thought of myself and who I should be and how I should show up in the world. So at 25, I moved to China, maybe to get away and figure out who Jessie really was. But I recently came across an old YouTube channel that I'd started with the intention of sharing my travels, the things I would see and do. I posted one video and then I quit because I thought my story wasn't worth sharing. When I saw that video, it made me want to shake that girl and say, yes, you are worthy. It's not the title, the bank account, or the success defined by others that make it so you should share your story. It's simply you. If you want to share of yourself, do it. Don't be defined by what others tell you, because they will not be living your life for you. I commend so many young people that are just out here sharing their truths because I wish I had been as brave. But now, in my 30s, maybe I can take inspiration. It's not too late to rewrite your story. So I wanted to share some thoughts and I would love yours. So please do make sure to make a comment down below. We're now again living in another country together as a family for the first time. We moved here right before COVID, so we were not at all prepared for the isolation, the struggle, and the feelings. I had a hard time seeing myself through it. It reminded me of the postpartum haze I struggled with after the birth of my daughter. In some ways, I'm thankful for this time. It caused us to pause, reflect, and learn how to be a couple again, rather than two people who happened to have a baby and lived in two different countries while doing it. That was rough. It really was. But now that things are looking better for the future, it's time to reset. If we fall into the same traps as before, we'll fall into the same traps as before. And I, for one, cannot and refuse to do so. I haven't been through what I've been through just to go back to the way things were. But it's not easy, especially reestablishing yourself again. I've been an immigrant 3 times and an expat once. It takes a minute to feel like you've got your bearings, and COVID kind of took that away from us. So here I am, a bit braver this time, sharing my story, our journey, because I want to be a part of this community. I want to feel like I'm a part of this incredible city. Maybe even that it might be our home. But so with that, I thought I'd share 3 things I never considered before becoming an adult. Number 1, relationships are actually hard as hell, even the one with yourself. Media and TV make it seem like relationships are the easiest things in life. Problems are easily wrapped up in half-hour specials, and if it's not, then there's always to be continued. But if it doesn't work out, then you move on to the next. No harm, no foul. But is it that simple? No, obviously. I like to say that it's my hyper-independence. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it's definitely something that I'm working on. It's what keeps me from reaching out and staying in touch, even asking for help because I think I can do it all on my own, or because I don't trust others to not let me down. It's a bit of an issue, even in my marriage, but lay strong cultural backgrounds on top of that and let the misunderstandings and miscommunication ensue. When you come from the same or similar cultural background, you have the benefit of at least having similar cultural norms and expectations. If something is red, you both know it's red. But while it can be exciting to be with someone from a different culture, it's also hard because you come to a shared experience having learned very different cultural norms. So what one thinks is red, the other most assuredly thinks is blue. But the longer you are together, the more you build your own shared norm. It's like my parents telling me my husband has an accent and me not being able to hear it at all anymore. It also takes a lot of patience, but anything worthwhile usually does. Number two, you have two choices when it comes to living life. Either you stay where you are, mentally, educationally, emotionally, because we all know physically changes no matter what you do. And the other is to continue to develop and grow. Push yourself past your comfort zone and make that your new normal. I really believe it's only through soul work that we really learn who we are and how we want to show up in the world. It's why most of young adult authors are in their 30s or older, because there's more time to reflect on youth when you're not as close to it. Whatever method you choose to do, it all helps. Therapy, journaling, workshops, online education, investing in yourself and your development is the best thing to make yourself a more enriched person. No one likes to be around someone that's always stuck in the past or too focused on the future. But the worst might be someone whose toxicity infests every part of their life and they're unable to see it. That one might be the hardest, but it takes real work and it might be life's work. And we need to understand that might be the case. Number three, making friends is an adult skill set that I've yet to master. I'm not gonna lie, this one is really tough for me, and for my husband even more so. And the reason is because we're pretty self-sufficient as adults. We don't really think of going out to make friends for the sake of friendship. You might have colleagues you're close to or acquaintances you might hang out with, but are they the ones you call when you're in need because of an emergency? When I was a kid, it basically took very little to make friends. Oh, you live on this street? I live on this street. Let's be friends. Even if you didn't really have a lot in common. But now, in 2 years, we've made one friend, and it was mostly my daughter's fault. We were in a baby gym class, and we were the only ones who weren't nannies or grandparents. And so we started hanging out. And then during COVID, we were in a bubble together. But it's still pretty new as far as my friendships are concerned. But maybe I'm asking too much of an adult friendship. I know how to network, but I don't really know how to keep the relationship going without feeling like a bother. Maybe that's why friendship is so much harder. What do you do to make adult friends? Where do you meet? Who approaches whom first? When does an acquaintance become a friend by adult standards? I'm dying to know. So let me know your top 3 things you never considered before becoming an adult. And I look forward to reading your comments below. And if no one's told you yet today, you're bold, you're wonderful, and you're a force to be reckoned with. Until next time.